A billionaire sent mercenaries to take one old woman's house, but they had no idea she was a professional assassin, and by morning, none of them were breathing. We open in Bighorn Ridge, Montana, where a grumpy elderly woman named Ellen Cole is casually refilling her prescription and grabbing 2 boxes of beer like it's just another Tuesday. Nearby, the local sheriff Winston catches a young woman named Abigail Cochran stealing chocolate bars and beef jerky from a convenience store. Her father recently died, she has no family left, and no money either, so she stole food to survive her plan to leave town for good. Instead of arresting her, Winston lets her go with a warning and has his deputy Henry drive her to the edge of town. At a gas station, 2 men named Kyle and Dwayne spot Abigail trying to hitch a ride and start pressuring her uncomfortably. That's when Ellen steps in, offers Abigail a ride instead, and when the 2 men try to stop them, Ellen takes both of them down with almost casual ease. Abigail is stunned watching a woman who looks like somebody's grandmother dismantle 2 grown men without breaking a sweat. During the drive, Ellen learns Abigail is heading toward Mexico hoping to see Machu Picchu, and gently corrects her that Machu Picchu is actually in Peru, which honestly might be the funniest geography lesson delivered mid-getaway in recent film history. Instead of dropping her at the highway, Ellen brings her back to the ranch, insisting she at least leave with a full stomach and a good night's sleep. That night over dinner the 2 share a surprisingly warm conversation. Ellen reveals Abigail's father used to help around the ranch after Ellen's husband passed. Abigail explains her father started drinking heavily after Duke's construction crews destroyed the creek he loved to build a dam, and eventually he drowned himself there out of heartbreak. Ellen gently tells her that traveling the world is valuable, but having a home to return to matters just as much, and jokes that they're both orphans now, which somehow makes the sadness between them feel lighter. The next day, wealthy land developer Richard Duke arrives at Ellen's ranch with his enforcer Mitch Clay, pressuring her to sell her land for his new resort project. He offers big money, property options, VIP perks, all of it. Ellen coldly refuses and makes it clear her land is not for sale as long as she's breathing. Furious, Duke storms off and orders Mitch to get Ellen off that property by any means necessary. That night, Ellen quietly packs Abigail a bag for her journey, even giving her a hunting knife for protection. But later, Kyle and Dwayne break into the house planning to stage an accident. Dwayne tampers with the stairs, but Ellen wakes up, catches him, and beats him unconscious with her own oxygen tank, which is genuinely one of the most unexpected weapon choices in recent memory. Meanwhile Abigail runs into Kyle, and in the struggle accidentally finds a gun and shoots him in the shoulder. Ellen calmly tells her not to worry, she'll take the blame. The next morning, instead of investigating the break-in, Sheriff Winston brings up Ellen's earlier fight at the gas station and finds 12 weed plants in her barn, charging her with a felony despite the fact that 2 masked men literally broke into her home the night before. Deputy Henry looks visibly uncomfortable but follows orders and arrests her anyway. While Ellen is taken away, Abigail stays behind and finds a hidden room beneath the basement containing guns, multiple passports, and old photos of Ellen in military uniforms. Something about this woman is very clearly not what it seems. At the station, Ellen mocks Dwayne's injured nose while he threatens her house, and demands Winston protect her property, accusing him outright of working for Duke. Winston coldly refuses to help. Soon after, Kyle and Dwayne grab gasoline cans, clearly planning to burn the house down. Back at the station, a worried Henry brings Ellen her oxygen tank and finds her lying on the floor, but it's a trick. Ellen takes his gun, locks him in the cell, disarms 2 more officers, and escapes. She rushes home, hands Abigail the truck keys, and tells her to leave before police arrive. Abigail refuses to abandon her. When the police show up, Ellen calmly waits on her porch, disarms Sheriff Winston the moment he draws on her, and knocks him flat in front of his own men. Humiliated, Winston calls for heavier weapons, but Henry, worried about Abigail still being inside, goes in unarmed to talk her out. Abigail refuses to leave without Ellen and shows Henry a map connecting several mysterious ranch disasters, including one blamed on a brush fire and another on cattle botulism, both followed by owners dying under strange circumstances. Henry realizes he was only ever the first officer to arrive at her father's death scene, and that Duke's men were the ones who actually found the body. That's when they both start to suspect Duke's people murdered her father. Mitch arrives with armed men, giving Winston 3 minutes to clear Abigail out before they move in. Henry refuses to hand her over and questions why Duke's people are even there, but Winston gives the signal to attack anyway, choosing to abandon them. Ellen, seeing Henry as a liability at this point, knocks him out and drags him with Abigail into the hidden basement room, locking them in for their own safety. Outside, actual trained mercenaries surround the house. This is no longer Kyle and Dwayne level trouble. As Ellen sets booby traps throughout the property, police run a background check and discover something that makes everyone freeze. Ellen is originally from Russia, a former KGB agent known by the codename Sword and Shield. This woman did not just know how to fight. She used to kill people for a living. This is the 1 billion IQ reveal the entire film has been quietly building toward, because every calm, precise, terrifyingly efficient thing she's done up to this point suddenly makes perfect sense. Dwayne finds practice targets in the house, every shot hitting dead center, and starts panicking immediately. The mercenaries try ramming a car into the house, but Ellen shoots the tire out before they get close. One by one, men get caught in her traps. Dwayne runs off entirely, abandoning the others. Chaos erupts as Mitch's men open fire wildly, forcing Ellen to take cover, and when Kyle bursts through the front door another trap sends him flying across the lawn. The mercenaries finally breach the house, but Ellen moves through the shadows picking them off one at a time with terrifying precision, one bullet, one kill, taking their own weapons and turning them against the rest. Abigail forces her way out of the basement room just as a mercenary breaks in and opens fire on Henry. Henry gets overpowered until Abigail knocks the attacker out cold with a baseball bat. Elsewhere, Ellen struggles to breathe after the exertion and reaches for her oxygen tank, but Mitch spots her and opens fire, hitting her. She fires back until she runs out of bullets while Mitch hides behind a dead body as a shield. He mocks her, saying she must have been a machine in her prime, then throws her around and prepares to finish her off, asking if she has any final request. Ellen calmly tells him to aim for the head. When Mitch turns around, Henry is standing there with a gun pointed directly at him. They tie Mitch up and interrogate him, learning Duke owes dangerous people a massive amount of money and needs the resort finished by next summer or he's finished too, which is exactly why Ellen had to disappear immediately. While Abigail helps Ellen with her medication, Mitch secretly grabs a fallen wine opener and hides it. While Abigail's attention is elsewhere, he taunts Henry about being abandoned by Winston, provokes him into getting too close, and overpowers him with the hidden weapon. By the time Abigail and Ellen return, Mitch has already set the house on fire and taken Henry hostage, escaping outside while his men surround the property and open fire to prevent anyone from leaving. With flames spreading, the trio retreats into the hidden basement room and escapes through a secret tunnel just as Mitch's men believe they've trapped everyone inside. Ellen watches her burning home from a distance, devastated. By morning, while Mitch's men search the ashes for bodies that don't exist, Ellen leads Abigail and Henry to a hidden truck stashed in the forest. As they drive, Ellen finally opens up. She was picked up off the streets as a child by the KGB and trained to kill before she ever had a real home. Later she met her husband and built an actual life with him, a real home, and now that home is gone too. They know they need hard proof to take Duke down, and Abigail remembers her father may have found something before he died. At his trailer they discover evidence directly linking Duke's resort project to the string of destroyed ranches. Meanwhile Duke gets a call from the Russian men he owes money to, demanding he sign papers in person immediately. In the forest, Abigail finally breaks down, realizing she spent years hating her father, embarrassed by him, dismissing him just like everyone else in town did, when he was right about Duke the entire time. Henry goes to confront Sheriff Winston, warning him state police are already on their way to arrest him. That night, Duke learns Ellen is still alive. Moments later his lights go out and his guards start dying one by one as Ellen moves through the property like a ghost, silent and precise. Dwayne hides Duke in a closet with a gun and stands guard, terrified. At the same time, Abigail plants explosives at the dam, and Kyle suddenly appears, revealing he was the one who actually murdered her father, attacking and taunting her cruelly. But Abigail pulls the hunting knife Ellen gave her at the very beginning of this story and stabs him, leaving him for dead. Back at the estate, every guard is dead. Someone approaches Duke's closet and he panics, emptying his entire gun through the door. Ellen opens it and aims at him, and he assumes this is finally the end, but Ellen tells him she's not there for him. She's there for Mitch. When Mitch arrives, she makes it personal, shoots him in the hand to disarm him, and accepts his challenge to fight hand to hand. He overpowers her briefly, but Ellen gouges his eye, turns his own weapon against him, and finishes it. She then takes Duke into the forest, signals Abigail, and the dam explodes exactly as planned. Duke curses at her, but then one of the Russian creditors arrives to collect his signed papers, immediately recognizing Ellen with genuine respect. As she speaks to him fluently in Russian, Duke smiles, assuming the man has come to kill her. The truth is far worse for him. Ellen simply lets the Russian man take Duke away, knowing exactly what awaits him. Sometime later, Abigail reads a newspaper reporting Duke is still missing following the massacre at his estate. Henry, now promoted to town sheriff, arrives to deliver Ellen's prescriptions, and shares a warm goodbye with Abigail. In the end, Ellen and Abigail load up her father's old trailer and finally set off together on the journey to Machu Picchu, this time with the right country in mind. Billionz family, here's what this film taught me. Every single person who underestimated Ellen because of her age paid for it with their lives. But the real lesson isn't about her. It's about Abigail, who spent years embarrassed by her father, dismissing him as broken, until she found out he was right the entire time. So here's what I need you to carry with you today. The biggest mistakes often come from believing we already know who people are. The moment we stop paying attention, we overlook the very people capable of changing everything. If you enjoyed this movie, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you didn't, just like and subscribe anyway, it really helps us out. Thanks for watching, Billionz family. See you in the next one.